Hello and welcome. We're going to do a session demonstration in this video. So let me just jump on screen real quick. I'll put myself down here just to say hello. I'm going to show a session demonstration. I'm going to be having myself off screen just so you can see all the content. So for this particular client, this is a real client. This is a real session. The client presented with, she's about 100 pounds overweight currently. I think she said it took her 3 to 4 years to put that on. She does have diagnosed thyroid disease. She is on a low level of medication. She has significant trauma from childhood and some recent, well, within the last 5 years or so. She's experiencing fatigue. She has a sedentary lifestyle. She has a health decline, and she is entering menopause. So let me go ahead and put the software up, and we will work through this session. So this is the Global Energy Method software that I'll be using for this session. And we're going to go ahead and work through a session for this client to see what we can do to help her. So the first thing I did is I chose subconscious guided because she does have so many different concerns. I wanted to do a subconscious guided for her. Once we open up the subconscious guided, then I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste all of her ailments in here, which is the things we just talked about. I also do collect the before and after. So I have in here what she would like after the sessions are completed. So we have the full focus with a subconscious guided around her symptoms, as well as what she would like to achieve from this session or the sessions that she will be getting. All right. So once we're in here, you can see that everything I wrote is over here at the left side. It is showing as the subconscious guided around those, that the report is automatically being generated. I do have the client's name blocked out, private client 1, with the age and the date that we're doing this. So testing the screen, I can test that the psychological imbalance is the most pressing. Just clicking that little button is going to put an explanation on the report for me. So from here, our client will test the screen, which area should we address, and it tested as block energies. Again, I click the button so we can add a explanation to the report. And then now the report is building over to the left. Here I'm checking, is there an energetic anchor? And there is. So we click on the little button to add the explanation for that. So you can see the explanation for energetic anchor is now to the left. So now we test to see what type of energetic anchor for this client. It's going to be an illness energetic anchor. So we'll add the explanation there, or I could type in my own if I wanted to. And now we'll check cause by. We're now on the cause by screen. So I'm going to check what is causing this energetic anchor to happen. I found a cognitive dissonance. And in here, we'll just test, is it a denial energy? It's an identity conflict energy. Once again, add the explanation. And then here, I can customize the identity conflict. So this little eye up here gives me some questions if I don't have intuition, so that I can follow that question guide and see, is there another person, place, or thing involved, etc. Like, these are questions that can help me get some specifics on this identity conflict. I'll be using intuition for this client. And so using intuition, I've already tested, and this has been present since the age of 4, and it involves her mother or mother figure. I'm pretty sure this is her actual mother, but it could be a mother figure as well. Testing is that. Here we don't need to add anything. That's just if we want to add more explanation to what we just found. So we can just continue through. Okay, so you can see here that now it shows up, what I just wrote is going to show up on her report. And we can add a custom correction if we would like to. So to add a custom correction, we would just click on this little hyperlink and it will open up a custom correction box for us. For this client specifically, we're not adding a custom correction because I want to know what is causing this identity conflict. So we went ahead and went to cause bys. All of these things could potentially be causing that identity conflict. For her specifically, she tested with memory energies are causing it, or at least partly causing it. And so now we'll find out what the specific memory energy is. We have an association memory. So I can click the box again and continue to add that to the report. And then we have another customized identified box. So we can add information here based on intuition, or we can use those questions up in the little eye up above. But for this particular client, we will go ahead and identify using intuition. So this client has association between motherhood and failure. This is caused by that association. All right, so here we're back at a customized correction. So we can identify a custom correction. We can enter that here. So it began due to a memory of your own mother around the age of 4. So this client was exposed to something at the age of 4 with her own mother. And so we're going to go ahead and correct this memory energy. We're going to replace the memory with the repair the memory within the subconscious mind, restore all the context of the memory to limit triggers, because sometimes there isn't true trauma, but we associate or we change the context. So, for example, sometimes if a parent is working a lot, the child will get abandonment. The parent likely has to work to support the child. So they are not trying to abandon them. They're not truly abandoned. So we want to at least restore the context of the memory to limit triggering that memory in the future. Currently, as an adult, we want to limit those triggers. We also separated the emotional energy from the memory. We do that so that the body can process that emotional energy. As energy healers, we can release that emotional energy ourselves, but separating it does allow us to get through a little bit more in the session, and then a lot of times it will process on its own. So after supporting the emotional energy from the memory, we support the healthy release of emotional energy related to this memory from all areas of the mind, body, chakras, and meridians. And then we will support the healthy processing of the memory energy. We will encourage healthy neural connections that both help the client stay safe, but also limit unhealthy trauma and stress triggers. We will balance all existing stress triggers to the memory and balance all existing trauma triggers due to the memory energy. Now, within the Global Energy Method certification, you're taught how to do these things. So if you're looking at this and you are thinking, I'm an energy healer, but I haven't ever been able to do that, that's something we do teach within the Global Energy Method certification. Global Energy Method has 5 levels of certification, all the way up to a master practitioner. Once a student reaches master, they can also become board certified. The training is duly accredited and a continuing education for the Naturopathic Medical Certification Board. So it is an in-depth, comprehensive training that is constantly evolving. And that training now is included with purchase of the Global Energy Method software as well. All right, so now that we've addressed that memory, we want to go ahead and see if there's something more we can do. So this on the add more to report screen, we typically will test. And I'm going to go, she's testing into the contributor screen. That may be because we want to look a little bit further into that. So let's go into this section. And the software does run a little slow while we're on live or while I'm recording. All right. So in the contributor screen, we're back at looking at block energies. Now here, I can either add the explanation by clicking that little box, or I can leave it off because we've already addressed block energies previously. So I can uncheck that box and it won't put the explanation again. What that does is it kind of streamlines the reporting. So, but because this client, because we looked at that quite a bit higher up in this report, I'm going to go ahead and re-add that explanation, especially so this client can see that each time that it's accessed, because she is new to energy healing and I want her to be aware of that. So I'm going to go ahead and add that explanation onto the report. And then we will now ask if there is an energetic anchor, muscle test to find out if there's a trauma wall. So in the trauma wall, we'll also add the explanation there. And now we want to know what type of trauma wall. Is it an absorbed trauma wall, inherited, hidden, or shared trauma wall? For this client specifically, it is a hidden trauma wall, which is the most common type of trauma wall. So we'll go ahead and add that explanation to the report as well. And within that, we can see here that the explanation came up. A hidden trauma wall is a deeply buried barrier within the subconscious or energy field, often concealed from conscious awareness or overlooked in previous healing sessions. This wall may remain hidden due to energetic protections, unresolved layers, or limiting, or the timing of not being right for it to surface. So as you can see, it goes on, and we do use NLP in all of our explanations. So it is specifically designed to trigger the innate healing ability within the mind and body as they read the report. Okay, so then we're going to test these caused by to see what's causing this trauma wall. There's quite a bit that will be causing it, but the first thing we're finding is image energies. So we'll go ahead and add that to the report, and we will find out what type of image is causing this. It's an egotistical image energy. Once you're familiar, you wouldn't be surprised by that option because of, well, if you knew the trauma that she was experiencing. So again, I could have clicked the little eye where it gives me questions that I can ask. Or there is a little search button down at the bottom where I can search this. So if I'm ever on a screen where I don't know what to do, I can type it into this little spyglass, and then I can find all the areas that this was talked about. and look through and see what one I'm specifically looking for. And then once we decide, we can click on it and it'll take us to a training video specifically with that information. And so without ever leaving the software or leaving our report, we can go ahead and get answers right in the next section is software. So I had to pause that. So yeah, so we can get answers either there or in the little eye to know what to do with each screen. For this client specifically, I used intuition to find out that feeling that things outside of her control were her fault, and that is the egotistical. So egotistical is it can be a range of things, but feeling that it's her fault, even though it's outside of her control, that's egotistical. She thinks that she can control things that are really uncontrollable. So that is ego. That's the ego part of the mind doing that. So we're going to go ahead and add a custom correction for this. And we'll type in here, just giving a little more information from the trauma event that we talked about earlier. And then in here, I'm going to give a little more information as well. So we'll let her know that things that happened during this event were outside of your control. However, you are holding them as your fault to confirm the identity conflict and association that motherhood and failure are linked. Okay. Now let's get to the corrections. And these are the corrections that we're going to do for this client today. We're going to repair the image within the subconscious mind. I want to restore all context of the image to limit negative triggers. We separated the emotional energy from the image. We're supporting the healthy release of emotional energy related to this image. We're supporting healthy processing of the image energy. We're going to encourage healthy neural connections that both help you stay safe, but also limit the unhealthy trauma and stress triggers. We are also going to balance all existing stress triggers due to the image energy, and we're going to balance all existing trauma triggers due to the image energy. All right. So these are very similar to the memory. There are different corrections for different things. For this particular client today, we've been looking a lot at past experiences, at memories, at images, at associations. So that is why we worked on those. And again, those are things that are taught within the Global Energy Methods software. So at this point, the client needs to process. So we're going to come in here and we are going to go ahead and add some affirmations, positive reinforcements, encouragements, and then complete the session. So in here, we'll select some of the preset affirmations. You are able to do custom affirmations in the software, but for today's, there are perfect affirmations that we can choose and install into the subconscious mind. That's another thing that's covered within the Global Energy Method, is that we do teach repatterning, how to repattern the subconscious mind, and how to install things like positive affirmations and reinforcements. So I'm going to ask her to please repeat these once per day for 3 to 5 days or until the next session. All right, continue to the report. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and do the same for the reinforcements, the encouragements, and we'll do a couple awakenings. Okay, now that we've got that all in, we're going to go ahead and put in a brief, some brief information here. We're going to put in the results. Trauma wall was found and reduced to 18 miles, and we repaired an identity conflict. And the processing, we'll muscle test to find out how long the processing is going to take. That'll take about 5 days. And now we want to write a more in-depth summary. So I've done that, and this is what was written. Today I found that you are somewhat guarded, especially around your specific trauma. I found this was due to an identity conflict that goes as far back as 4 years old. At this time, you created an association between motherhood, da 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 da. And then I go through and I tell her everything that we covered. I talk to her about her trauma wall and what that means to her, and that the distance of the trauma wall, it started at 20 miles and was reduced to 18, is not literal, but rather just a way of us measuring work done or work needed. And then I tell her what I expect, how I expect maybe a little fatigue for a day or two, and then I expect her energy to shift. As these corrections take place, she will start to release some of that emotional energy. In the next session, we can address whatever was not automatically processed by her own mind and body. And then in addition to that, I give her some things to add in because, as we talked about, she has thyroid issues and she has gained quite a bit of weight. So I give her some recommendations. We start very small. She does want to lose the weight slowly to avoid saggy skin. So I give her just a couple things to add to her daily routine, such as water and spending time outside in the sun, either at sunrise or sunset. These are things that are going to help to support kind of improvement to the metabolism, sleep improvement, which is going to help the organs and glands work better. So then we go ahead, we save and download the report. And now let me share the report with you. Okay, so this is her report. Let me zoom in just a second here. So as you can see, actually, let me zoom out and just kind of show you. So as you can see, this software effortlessly, within just a second or so, created this professional looking report for the client. So we can do email sessions and then send these professional reports, or we can go ahead and send it after a live call. What I always recommend, if you're doing live call sessions, what my recommendation is to do the session before the call and then use the time of the call to answer questions, go over the report, talk to them about what happened. Because a live session, typically you're wasting a lot of time just doing the work and looking at the different screens and kind of finalizing all that, or they ask questions and then you spend a lot of time doing that. You're constantly connecting and disconnecting from your client. And so it can be a little cumbersome on camera because of the time wasted. So your sessions will have to take at least an hour if you're doing live sessions that way. But if you do your session off camera and then you maybe book 20-30 minute session live calls, then you can go over it, give them the chance to ask questions, and you optimize your time and work with more clients in the same amount of time. So as you can see here, the software has generated this. We're able to customize our logo. I just used the basic gem logo for this. I protected the client's name, but you can see the name, the age, and the date of the session. And then it goes through. And again, we use NLP in all of the explanations so that it can trigger the placebo response within the client's brain and body and just activate the innate healing ability further enhance every single session. So if you have questions, you can always reach out to Lisa at globalenergymethod.com, and you can get a free 30-day trial for the Global Energy software if you visit www.globalenergymethod.com/free trial. That will give you a 30-day free trial of whichever plan you choose, and you can go ahead and play with it and see what that is. Now, I will let you know that inside the free trial, you're not going to get the certification training because it is just a free trial. But once you do convert, if you choose to convert to a paid plan, then the Global Energy Method certification also comes with the software. All right. If you have questions, reach out to Lisa at globalenergymethod.com.